I'm ready. Ready or not. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the, this morning is the special meeting. I'm sorry. And last night I got a great night's sleep, so it's the first time in a while, so I should be right on this morning, but so far it didn't start off that way. If you'll join me, we'll stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll do the pledge. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Councilor Eby,
Here.
Councilor Letterman,
Here.
Councilor Hooker,
Here.
Councilor Jackson,
Here.
Councilor Corey, and Councilor Salas are absent. You have a
All right.
quorum.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda, discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2025-12, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025 budget quarter ending March 31, 2025 for certain funds and application to local government division of the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration for approval thereof. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, Mayor and Councilors.
Good morning.
This is the third quarter budget adjustment for the village. This would be all budget adjustments January 1st through March 31st. We'll focus the discussion on, in your packet, it's called the resolution report. You've seen it a number of times. It's the one that by category, by fund, gives all the adjustments. So if everybody's there, remember at any point of time, if you need to have a question answer, just interrupt me and we'll go forward. First of all, on the general fund, we had increases to revenues of $66,193. Most of the adjustment was adjusting donations to actual, which totaled $54,193. Of that amount, the police increase was $3,000, fire was $3,485, the seniors were $10,409, Parks and Rec was $2,299, and we did have some South Fork donations of $35,000. We received $30,000 from the Mescalero Apache tribe and $5,000 from the veterans. So those we haven't tied to any expense yet, so that money is just sitting and will be rolled over year after year until we spend it. There was adjustment to payment in lieu of taxes of $12,000 per ordinance. The enterprise funds, RJU, pays a payment in lieu of taxes amount, and so it is based on their fixed assets. So this is just adjusting the payment to their new fixed asset amount as of the results of the audit from fiscal year 2024. The transfers increased by $300,000. That was just an increase in admin fees from SGRT. Remember, again, our budgets are usually, revenues are budgeted low, and so when actuals are exceeding budget, then the admin fee will go up because it's based on actual revenues. They pay 10% to the general fund. Expenditures increased $312,430. Again, we increased donation revenue, so we'll increase the expenditure so the departments can expend the amounts, and the expenses did increase by the same amounts at $54,193. We did budget some monies for generators for potential brownouts at $33,110, and they were for the sites of the Village Hall at $12,480. We were going to place one at the Senior Center, $7,250, and the Convention Center for $13,380. We did purchase the tourism vehicle at $65,000. We got the police software at $63,384, and dispatch also had a software purchase of $91,743. I was correcting a police correction for a budget adjustment for a prior period at decreasing 7,000 of their investigative expense. I had increased 2 accounts instead of increasing one and decreasing the other, so I had to double it, so that's just a correction. P&Z telephone was short a little bit, so we increased it by $2,000, and then the Parks and Rec merchant fees by $5,000. And then the opening and closing of the graves at Gavilan increased $5,000. Transfers out for the general fund increased $248,950. The majority of that was the transfer to the streets for the hot plant at $200,000. And then we transferred to solid waste as a VOR match on the grapple truck grant at $48,000. We didn't have enough monies to purchase the additional. We were short $48,000, and we thought that $48,000 would be a good price to get an additional grapple truck, so.
Judy, I apologize for stopping you, but
That's okay.
going back to the generators, did we get those
We
generators?
just rented them.
Okay,
We
that's
just
why I was
rented.
like, man, that's low.
No,
Yeah,
they were
there's
just
just random.
rentals.
Just
Just in
case.
preparation
Perfect.
for the
Thank you.
brownouts, sorry.
Thank you.
So that was the general fund. Any other questions? We'll move on to SGRT. We increased expenditures by $264,107. The main was for the drainage inventory for Cobb Finley at $254,837. And then Country Club needed additional funds of $9,270. Again, there's the transfer out for the admin fees at $300,000. On EMS, we were contacted by the department, and we had to list out what our leftover balance was from the prior year grant, and our balance was $2,142, so they want us to pay it back. So we have to send that money off, and we already did. On the SURF, we decreased expenditures by $12,742 because that's going to be the match for the SCBA grant that you'll see later down in the presentation under the intergovernmental grants. The fire fund, I adjusted the fire fund allotment to actual at $100,000. I had $400,000 in the budget, and it came out to like $498, so that's where the extra $100,000 came. We reversed the NMFA loan for the fire truck. In the original budget, I had thought that they had already applied to NMFA for fire trucks, but they hadn't, so I'm just correcting the budget. Cade, you'll see, is going and filling out an application going forward. So when I take it out of the revenues, I'll also take it out of the expense. We reversed it out for $990,074. And then we put a contingency for the extra money on the revenue of $100,000 in contingency. He's trying to build up that fund to buy additional trucks, so we're just rolling over the monies. On lodger's tax, we decreased transfers in by $36,973. That was just to adjust to the final closeout of the special events fund. On expenditures, we increased $303,175. It was for special events for fiscal year 25, quarter 4. The events are totaling $279,675, and then we increased the grants to outside agencies for advertising at $23,500. On the special events fund, the final expenses of the fund totaled $36,973. And so we increased their expenses because I didn't originally have any budget for expenses. I didn't know there was anything outstanding. And that's why the transfers out to the lodger's tax fund decreased by the same amount. Municipal gas tax increased for the transfer for the hot plant repairs at $200,000, both in transfers in from the general fund and expenditures. On the intergovernmental grants, the fire department did get a grant, a federal grant for 27 SCBA's at $254,837. And we recorded the legislative appropriation for Healing Hands at $450,000. That's the Veterans Conference Center out at Fort Stanton.
Was your number
Yeah,
different?
that was a different number.
On the SCBA, we have 267,579.
Yeah.
Because we have a match. So
I
that
know,
is.
but you
that-
said 240. so-
Oh, did I say? Did I get it backwards? 264.
267,
250,
579.
254, 837 is the revenue. And then the expense is 267, 579.
Okay.
Okay,
Eh.
there you go.
Lots of numbers. Okay. The transfer in is for the match to the SCBA's at $12,742. And then, of course, the expenditures for both the SCBA grant and the Healing Hands legislative appropriation. RSVP increased revenues by $56,655. And it's adjusting the grants to actuals at federal at $51,133 and the state at $5,522. So something that's unique about RSVP, their state grant runs on a fiscal year cycle, but their federal grant runs on April 1st to March 31st. So he started a new grant year in April, so this is recording the new grant. So that's why in the budget, you didn't see anything for the federal side, because at the end of June, we'll roll over whatever remaining amounts we have on the federal. So that's why it looks kind of weird. The expenditures increased $63,464 for the new federal grant amount. On the forestry grants, they were awarded a project, the state West Moon Mountain Fuel Break Project at $101,723, and you'll see it increasing both on revenues and expenditures. On FEMA, transfers increased $721,000. This was a transfer from the DFA loan for some additional South Fork fire expenditures, and the actual expenditures increased $1,037,559. There was a fence purchase at $21,000, agency support at $900,000, racetrack bypass pumping at $63,900, and then they purchased some culverts at $52,659. On GEO bonds, you'll see the same pretty much adjustments both in the GEO bond capital improvement account, which is 302, and then, of course, the debt service account, which is a 400 series. So the $1,447,750 was just the issuance of the Series 2024 GEO bonds. And then on the General Capital Improvement Fund, $20,000, we got access locks for EOC at Horton. And then, of course, on the NMFA loans debt service fund, you'll see the reversal of the NMF loan for the fire truck that was originally included in the budget. On the NMFA loan amount, the transfers out increased $721,000 for the transfer to the FEMA for the additional South Fork fire expenditures. And then, of course, on the GEO bond fund, we issued the Series 2024 GEOs at 1.5. Our bond issuance costs totaled $52,250, so that netted us $1.4 million to transfer for projects. On RJU, both revenues and expenses increased $36,000. We adjusted water tap revenues to actual and then increased merchant fees. On the airport, the revenues increased for the donations, $500 on the revenue side and $500 on the expense side. On the solid waste side, we did record the grant for 4 grapple trucks at $1.2 million. And then, of course, the transfer to make the last vehicle whole, $48,950 from the general fund for a total for the 4 grapple trucks at $1,248,950. So if you have any questions on any of the adjustments.
Just the $450,000 for Healing America's Heroes, have you got a return phone call from?
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, I spoke to Eddie Crane, I believe it was Monday, and he said he would send that agreement executed from his board, but we're going to have to bring him in, have some discussions with him because they.
Well, the sheriff's on the board and he
Yes.
has a problem with our
Yes,
attorney.
and they were.
So once again, our sheriff's decision-making ability is in dire question.
Absolutely. So I did explain that we're the grantee on the funds. We're responsible for it, and we're going to follow the procurement on it, so.
Yeah.
So he's on the board, and because we're the ones fiscal agent, and our attorney and him have issues.
Our attorney and him have issues. Now then, Eddie Crane's taking that side, so we're gonna be skinning that cat real quick. I just want y'all to know.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of this sheriff doing his unilateral BS. And this is just coming from me. It ain't coming from them. But he stepped on it too many times, and now then here we're trying to help America's heroes
Oh, absolutely.
with a $450,000 grant, and it's being held up because their director, and I'll call and talk to Eddie, but put a call into him already
He
this morning.
said that the way that agreement was written by our attorney wasn't right, and it was just, it's just a template we use. It's nothing, we're still doing the work. They're still involved in it, but, we have to take the lead on it, so.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Judy, okay, help me on FEMA. So those, let me find it.
Oh, the fence, it starts with the fence at
Yes.
21,000.
So they've paid us for all of that money?
No.
No.
That stuff that we have gone,
So-
are we looking?
We've contracted for it.
So those are in the budget, and we're spending money on South Fork right now, but since we don't have an obligated PW number for each incident or location, the money that DFA gave us as the advance of the loan, I'm transferring it to the FEMA fund so we can pay the funds.
Right,
When we get it obligated, I'll do a payment request for reimbursement. When I get it for the South Fork fires, then I'll transfer the money back out of FEMA back to the loan.
got it. That's right, okay.
And Mayor and Council, just an idea of a timeline on those. So all of that work that Judy just mentioned, it's currently in the review process to be submitted to FEMA. So we have 6 projects left. That's one of the 6, those general categories. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, it should be finalized and submitted up to FEMA. They should be reviewing it, and then once they review it, those funds will have their PW numbers, and then that should be something we see hopefully in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, I can entertain a motion. For
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve adoption of Resolution 2025-12, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025 budget quarterly ending March 31st, 2025, for certain funds and application to the local government division of the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. Item number 2, discussion and possible action on purchase of two Type 6 fire engines through HGHC, contract FS 12-23 from BFX Fire Apparatus in the amount of $263,951.78, including New Mexico GRT. Good morning, Chief.
Morning.
Good morning, AC.
So that is per unit, by the way, that 263,951.78.
Okay,
We're looking to purchase 2 of those. Those are the wildland units that we were talking about, the 4-wheel drive, smaller trucks, the smaller engines. So we have carryover, like Judy was saying, from the fire fund that's already allotted for this. These will take 14 months to build. So we'll have to hold that until they come in next year.
okay. Any questions? Okay,
So is this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Make a motion. You
Oh, so is this going to be in addition to what you already have, or are you putting out
We're-
2
we're-
other ones?
Yeah, so we broke one of the 2003, the old Fords that we had a long time, and during the South Fork.
Yeah,
So it'll be replacing that one, and we have a 1995 Chevy that'll be
Okay.
replacing that one as well.
okay,
And then the loan we're getting, or we're going is for the bigger trucks. So
Okay.
we're looking into that for future.
okay.
Make a motion to approve purchase of 2 Type 6 fire engines through HGAC contract number FS 12-23 from BFX Fire Apparatus in the amount of $263,951.78 for each one, including New Mexico GRT.
Second.
okay, discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Excellent. Thanks, Chief. Thanks,
you very
AC. You did a
much.
great job, buddy. I know, man, you do awesome. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2025-13, a resolution approving a First Amendment to New Mexico Department of Transportation, NMDOT Transportation Project Fund, TPF, Agreement LP 20014 on a time extension for a period of 1 year terminating on June 30th, 2026.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, this is the original Transportation Program Fund grant that we received, the 3.5 million that included Gavilan, Warrior, and Paradise. We had these, still had a balance, I'm going to say about $102,000 we were going to use last year to do Paradise, repave Paradise, using a different process. We know what happened there, so we still have the balance. I submitted a request to extend it for a year, and they've granted it. So this is just a process to be able to utilize those funds, possibly on Paradise. After all that work's done, maybe we could do a micro seal on that also. So.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay,
Mr. Mayor, move to approve adoption of Resolution 2025-13, a resolution approving a First Amendment to the New Mexico Department of Transportation Project Fund Agreement LP 20014 on a time extension for a period of 1 year terminating on June 30th, 2026.
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Excellent. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on agreement with Cutler Repaving, Inc. through the New Mexico statewide price agreement number 30-80500-23-17018 for pavement patching on White Mountain Drive, Poor Drive, LL Davis Drive, Jack Little Drive, Leon Farrar Drive, and Wingfield Street in the amount of $700,136.31, including New Mexico GRT. So can you explain to me what the process they're going to do?
Yes, sir. Mayor, council. So, we're doing a Cutler process. We've actually got them on another grant. But before they actually do the process, we don't want it looking like Paradise and some of these other roads. So they're going to actually go through and cut out and actually patch the bad spots in these roads. The guy from Cutler has actually went through and marked all of them for us to get quotes. We did get quotes from some other contractors, but I think it's going to be a lot cleaner if we use the actual Cutler guys to do it, because they know what process they actually want to do it, and they'll be mobilized up here.
So they're going to come in all these low spots and different things that you see?
Yeah, the
They'll
alligators.
take that out?
The alligator spots, the old street cuts, they're going to take out about 4 inches and then fill back with asphalt and compact.
And then they'll come back over all of it?
Back all over it and pave it.
That'll be nice.
Is there some of that that isn't 4 inches?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Anybody else? Motion?
I move that we accept Cutler Repaving, Inc. through the New Mexico statewide price agreement number 30-80500-23-17018 for pavement patching on White Mountain Drive, Poor Drive, LL Davis Drive, Jack Little Drive, Leon Farrar Drive, and Wingfield Street in the amount of $700,136.31, including New Mexico GRT.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Any more business? That concludes the agenda for the special meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Now, the other one starts at 9.
Yeah. I can't believe what